I think passion's overrated, and I think it's complete bullshit. I think it makes wellness influencers sound great. I think it sounds great online.
And I'm the goddamn boomer? Really?
And we're back. Wow. Kind of crazy. I miss our other digs, but for the time being, these 4 digital walls will have to do.
I feel like it's hiding my bald spot.
What's popping? What are we angry about? What are we raging about?
My battery's like 4%. So let's see how that.
Let's
does
do
on
this
our
quick.
cameras.
Let's do this quick. Rapid fire. Imad, how are you doing? You made a pretty big move,
We moved from Los Angeles to Seattle, and Seattle feels like being in Venice Beach.
more or
Oh
less.
my God. No, I think
Yeah.
it's like way more liberal. Every weekend you have to go on a hike. And to blend in, we got a new car. Guess what car we got? Subaru.
Subaru, yeah.
You have to
Get
drive
out
that
of
in.
here. Cool.
They just had to tell me, they're like, oh, if you're 6 feet, like this is the only car where like you could flatten the seats and a 6 foot person can lay down. I was like, say no more. Take my money. We're done. Like I finally started going back to the gym.
This guy always finds a way to weave in the fact that he works out a lot. That's cool.
Yeah, just always the
Get
case.
it.
Always the case. Good stuff. All right. Sajid, how about you? What are you raging or ranting about right now?
I had ACL surgery.
So
Yeah.
taking it slow.
You know, for the most part, I like it. I think it's forced me to reflect and slow down and think about, priorities and where to spend my time and stuff. Being forced to overnight, like, stop doing anything. So just what that's meant for me and my kids, and my wife has had to shoulder a bunch of the work and everything, really. So it's been weird. What's funny is the one thing I still can't do really well, a day-to-day thing, is go up and down stairs. I'm still taking, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot on each step. And
The same
it's so
problem my
weird, dude.
parents have too, actually.
Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like an old grandparent too, because my 4-year-old will like do something ridiculous and run off. And I'm like, hey, slow down. Just stop where you are. And he's like, later, Abba. How are you, Ahmed? What are you pissed off about?
Yeah.
You're usually upset a lot.
So this week I'm upset with like general home improvement stuff. Like there's all this stuff I want to do around the house, and there's like a lot of it. And I don't know about you guys.
You got a leaf blowing job? This dude, little context for you, Ahmed. Like a few nights ago, he's like, hey, you got a leaf blower?
You live in a condo, dude. Like, why do you need a leaf blower?
I need to clean out the fans in my house. And I saw this cool TikTok hack where you take a leaf blower and it takes out all the dust of the fan without having to like take it apart and clean it. So that's what I wanted to do. So I don't have a leaf blower.
Blow it back into the house, dude.
All right, we will cap it at that. So, welcome everyone. My name's Ahmed. I'm joined by Sajid and Imad. We welcome you to NaanSense. As you know, NaanSense is a way for men in their 40s who are exploring their careers, managing their families, managing their emotions, a way to come together, share some thoughts, let off some steam. Anyhow, today's main topic that we'll be exploring is career and aspirations. This was a good topic submitted by a couple of our followers. They wanted to hear our thoughts on careers, and
submitted by all 2 followers. That's cool. I appreciate you.
At this point, like a follower is a follower.
Now it's -1.
Shout out.
This is a big meaty topic. It's going to go in many different ways, but I want to hear from you. How'd you choose your career, and where are you satisfied, not satisfied? If you could do something else, we'll get into all of that. But yeah, let's start off with
review, bro. This is gonna be something.
I can't wait.
Are we gonna talk about like 5 years out? What's our plan? 10 years out? What do you see yourself doing?
Something like that. Yeah. Why don't we make it like that?
Yeah, like speaking of careers, I'm like in the middle of a career transition. But I want to hear from you guys before we like get into the serious stuff. Like, what do you guys think is like the most ridiculous career out there?
Ooh, like ridiculous from what sense? Like something that you would never do, or something you find preposterous?
I can't believe this exists. This is a career exists.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay. You want me to say it? Okay. I think we live in a very interesting time where creator YouTube, Instagram influencer, Twitter, ranter. Those are careers. And if there was a study out recently, I think Wall Street Journal posted this, that they polled 1,000 students across America, high schoolers, on what they wanted to be when they grew up. I think 3 or 4 of the top answers were influencer, creator, YouTuber, and some other synonym for those 3. So I find it preposterous, but hey, no disrespect to anyone and their dreams.
No, I agree with you. Like this, like whole creator world. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you are a boomer.
yeah,
Be proud.
yeah. I'm a young boomer,
You're booming, man.
older
You're booming.
millennial, young boomer.
You're
No,
booming.
so I think those, like the whole creator, all that crazy. Like kids want to be YouTube stars, right? Or whatever you call them. But like in terms of really like kind of weird, bizarre jobs, there's people like that are testing out soap live, in showers for P&G, right? Or people are testing freaking pet food, right? To see how it like, to me, those things are like, huh, okay. I mean, how much does it pay? And if I had to redo it, I would probably be tasting some pet food.
You guys ever watched that video a long time ago? There's this like Brazilian model masseuse who's complaining about how hard his job is.
No.
No.
No, please.
I bet it is really hard.
Whoa. No. Okay. So the most ridiculous career, Sajid said creator, I said creator. Imad, you're saying masseuse is the most
Model
ridiculous?
masseuse.
No, I said
pet food.
pet food tester.
Pet food tester.
testers.
You're not paying
Yeah.
attention to me.
Just a sign of the times. Okay, so then how did you guys choose your careers? How'd you guys choose yours?
Careers choose you. Like, I don't know. It's not like everybody is beating down my door after I graduate and be like, hey, here's 50 jobs for you.
So that's a good question. Does your career choose you, or do you choose your career?
I have a better question. Should you follow your passion or not
Yeah.
when you're choosing your career?
Yeah, I have very. No, please, Sajid, go. You go first, because I have a hot take on this.
No, I want to hear the hot take, dude.
I think passion's overrated, and I think it's complete bullshit. I think it makes wellness influencers sound great. I think it sounds great online. You should do something that you're good at, something that you can make money from, that provides fulfillment, and maybe there's some element of passion in there. But pursuing your passion 100%, this is like out of some, ridiculous Los Angeles-based wellness treatment center.
And I'm the goddamn boomer?
You're
Really?
the boomer.
For the most senior moment I've heard from you in a long time.
Sorry.
I'm passionate. He's passionate about not being passionate.
So like
That's why
the thing
that's
is,
why he started a podcast. He's like following his passion.
this stems from, I have like, I'm sure you guys, right, in your careers, you have a lot of young folks reaching out to you looking for career advice,
Totally.
general life advice. But I get a lot of young people reaching out, and they're always looking for career advice. And, this topic of passion comes up, and I just think it's overplayed. You can be passionate about multiple things, right? Like, I'm passionate about good design and good marketing. Does that mean I'm a designer now, or I should pursue design? Does that mean I should go pursue marketing? No, because I don't think that's where I can, have fulfillment and make money and do good in the world. But I'm curious to hear more from you.
I hear what you're saying, but you bring your passion to the work you're doing. So I hear you. I don't think it needs to define the specific career you choose, but I think there are signals by which you should follow, like where you should go. And I think too many people, at least when we were coming up, the parents' focus was always on, becoming a doctor, right? So like this whole topic, the fact that we have 3 of us that none of us are doctors means that we're all failures. Like, let's be
Totally.
honest.
Like from
Black
a
sheep of our
Desi
families.
Yeah,
standard, complete failures.
complete failure. So,
It's an interesting question because I read this book that I highly recommend by Cal Newport, who's a researcher. He wrote this book called So Good They Can't Ignore You. He makes a point where you should get started with doing something and do it for a long time. And the passion comes later, usually later, after you've done it
Yep.
done. a long time. And the book Outliers also kind of talks about this concept of like 10,000
Yep.
hours,
10,000 hours.
which
Yep.
is approximately 5 years of experience of doing something for a long time. I
Yeah.
think that's an interesting concept that
It's like arranged
you-
marriage. It'll turn into love.
it'll turn into love. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
kind of, that's a good point, good analogy. But somebody
Yeah.
else I don't know how true this is. Somebody said this to me once. Go back to when you were between the ages of 13 and 16. Whatever you were doing then is what you'll enjoy doing in later stages of your life. I felt it was definitely true because I remember getting together with my friends and just nerding out and like building.
I'm sure that's exactly what you guys were doing. But yes, I don't know if I agree with it 100%, but I think there's elements of it checking
What were you
out.
doing? Tell me.
So at 13, I started an illegal business in middle school selling candy and gum and
Yeah.
whatnot out of my backpack.
Good. There's the
And
entrepreneur.
people are hungry, they need snacks. And I would just sell it, part it out and sell it.
Doing
So
public good.
What was the
Really?
margin?
an interesting first business concept, which is just like customer service and talking to people and how to sell.
Yeah.
One thing that stands out is I spent a lot of time working alongside my dad in his relatively small business, and it was hard work. It was like out in the field. It was a lot of like customer service and dealing with people and dealing with different
It sounds like your current job.
Exactly. It's not very different, right? So I think that entrepreneurial sense and again, those sensibilities, right? But yeah, interesting. But I think that goes back to your original question, Ahmed. How do you pick your career?
For me, I've always been looking at like business opportunities and things of that sort, looking at different markets. So I've always had a generalist perspective. Like I consider myself a super generalist. And there's a great book called Range. I'm forgetting the author right now, but the conversation of being a generalist versus being a specialist. I'm very much a generalist and bill myself that way. So I've just been that way my entire life. And that's,
Do you ever feel like you wish you were more of a specialist?
I think,
And I ask that because I'm also, I think, a generalist, and I'm leading a
yeah,
little bit.
it's an interesting question because now that I have a kid, I'm thinking, should he be a generalist or should he be a specialist? And I think the world we're in, like technology is so pervasive, you're going to have to be able to make connections beyond your field, right? You're going to have to be able to see, the forest for the trees. And I think I want to go after the generalist
Yeah.
for my
I
kid.
like how you went super MBA mode right there. You threw like
Yeah.
three. Yeah.
I agree with you all that I think generalist is probably the primary way to go, but having like some depth, which again goes back to this like concept of like early years of your career. You can spend like 5 to 10 years just building depth in a few things because that range only happens over time. I think that range
Yeah.
is very hard to like start with. You can't just start out as a generalist. Like if I ever meet like a fresh grad who's like, "Hey, I'm a generalist," I'm like, "Dude, like you don't know anything.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It doesn't
That's
work."
that's a management consultant.
Yeah,
I know that
totally.
kid.
Yeah.
I was that kid.
You were that
we
kid.
were that.
I was like, yeah, I know CPG, yeah, media. Let's talk about it.
So
Yeah,
just imagine how bad that is today, though, through ChatGPT and all these other tools. Anyone
Everyone's
can say
bullshit.
that, right?
Yeah. But I'll take it even further and say that being a specialist and on a specialist track only
Yeah.
in today's environment coming up, I think is a pretty big risk. Unless you're like a doctor or something very specific, but in the business field, tech fields, because things are moving so dynamically, your entire specialization that you've gone so deep on can just erode in a matter of years, and that's
Yeah.
pretty scary. So I think there is value in doing both. But I want to come back to the point that you made, Emma, about like your child. So what do your kids think about your work? What is their
Oh yeah.
understanding or relationship to your work?
Yeah, it's so interesting. He's taking more interest in like, what do you do for work? And, he recently asked me like, do you make money? How much money do you make? And like, these are all like,
How much do you make? Let's just talk about it. Bring it up.
like,
And then like, why do
Dollars
they pay you for just doing meetings? Like, it doesn't
look,
make any sense.
he's taking a lot of interest. And the way I tell him is like, I look at different companies, I evaluate them, I try to see which ones have a large potential. What does that mean? And then I try to give them money so that they can grow faster and bigger and stronger. And he's like, oh, okay, cool.
Dad,
And
you
then-
kind of sound like a pimp for companies.
You know, maybe I am. Maybe that's what venture capital is. Pimp capital.
That whole like making money thing, my oldest son and I were talking about this recently. He's like, when I was younger, because we would be like, yeah, like, Abba has to go make some money, right? Like in a joking way, right? And he had this really literal imagination of that. He's like, I used to think that you had like some sort of machine and you were like, had a printing press. I was like, yeah, that would actually, he's like, I didn't even know about printing presses. I thought you had some machine where you're like cutting and making the thing. Yeah, that would get me in jail. So that's a whole different ballgame.
Dude, it's not just my kids, it's my parents. Like, I don't know how I explain our jobs to the kids or the parents, right? So I started my career as an engineer working for a helicopter company and then Boeing. So like they easily got it. I could take them to the factory floor and be like, this is what we're making. But then I became a management consultant and ever since then I have not been able to explain my job to anybody. Like
No,
it just has been very hard.
is management consulting a made up profession?
It's a made up profession. I explained it to my dad and he's like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would a company pay you money for stuff they already know? It doesn't make any sense. And like for a long time, I was like, no, it does. It does. And then like, I was like, now I'm like, yep, you're right. It doesn't make any sense.
Indeed.
Like, why you?
That's a different thing. Yeah. The level of incompetence that we bring to the table is different.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over my billing rate. And I saw pennies of it when I first started, in this industry. So it's no testament to anything I made. But the billing rate that they would charge for kids that were like barely out of college, that was just ludicrous. I mean, that was obscene. So I don't know. The whole model is interesting. I think it's like kind of imploding a little bit. That's a whole different topic.
So I think that's an interesting topic. I do think that like every single day at work, I am so scared. I feel like there is going to be a massive transformation for information jobs. And it's very hard to tell which way it's going to go. A lot of technical folks are starting.
Hey, Salman's here.
Hello, hello.
So I wanted to bring into this conversation for everyone that's viewing this. Yeah. Salman is our wonderful producer who makes sure all the wires are connected, that we sound good, we look great, and that we're running on schedule on time. So Salman has a very different background from
Send all your feedback to Salman. If you're unhappy, send it to him.
Yeah, if you're unhappy, it's Salman's fault. But yeah, Salman, tell us about your career. How'd you arrive to it? What do you think of all the stuff that's automation stuff that's happening? And yeah.
I did want to say one thing. You just asked about what do your kids think about your job. And I had a realization that I think as a kid, your first example of a job is probably what your parents are doing. And so I think any job that your parent is having as a kid, you probably look up to your parents. So you're going to think like, oh, that's a pretty cool thing that my dad does or my mom does. For example, for me, I work as a film editor. My daughter now, she'll watch TV and be like, why can't you work on this?
You have the coolest job out of all of us, by the way.
I mean,
like
you have around this boring as documentary, Bluey.
Bringing this all back to you mentioning no one here being a doctor, right? We grew up in a certain environment where your parents wanted you, obviously immigrant parents wanting their kids to be reliable, safe careers, doctor, lawyer, engineer. But there's a whole generation of kids now who are growing up watching their parents work in tech and data and media and whatever else and realizing like, hey, that's also probably a path.
None of us are going to private equity, nothing else.
He's going to turn his kids into PE bros. So Salman, I'm really curious, film editing, filmmaking, these are careers that typically, especially in the era that we grew up in, were not welcome in Desi communities, Desi households. How did you fight that uphill battle?
You're talking about passion and what you were doing when you were 15, 16, Ahmad. I was doing video production in 8th grade and in high school, and I was and I was foolish enough, Ahmad, to follow my passion, right? And think that I can make it into a career. And so you tell your parents you want to go to film school, and they go, okay, but you got to study something else. But I think for any immigrant parent, the moment your kid starts making money or working and they realize that you can be employed, then they go, oh, okay, maybe there is a world here where this is a job. My mom went, oh, okay, like you can work here. Not to say it's as stable as other careers are, like especially with AI, I feel like probably doctors are the safest.
We didn't make it a doctor, so I don't know.
No doctors on this podcast.
Yeah, 0 for 4.
I'm not sure if that's the safest job either, though.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff is getting automated there too.
All these jobs that are lawyers, doctors, I think their primary job is going to become therapist, but like with some doctor, like they're going to be using AI and like just making you feel good about the opinions that you're giving you, you know?
Dude, therapists are
real estate
freaked out from ChatGPT too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there is a level of paranoia right now.
Yeah.
I don't imagine all white collar jobs, disappearing that fast. But yeah, I think it's really interesting, Salman, what you're saying. Like once you start seeing the money roll in, then that was the whole reason, right? Like I don't think maybe with doctors and stuff, there's some inherent a respect for in the Desi community. But outside of that, like it's just all about money, right? And there's that scarcity mindset. Our parents immigrated to this country and or in Imad's case, Imad immigrated to this country and, are just like figuring things out, right? Was there a moment when you were like, oh, I went against the tide, but it's working? I'm like fascinated. I want my kids to do something like what you did.
I'm at a point now where now that I have kids and I think about, I understand what the older generation was saying when they were saying, hey, don't go into that field. Not saying that I don't love the field I'm in, but as you get older, you get a family, stuff changes. I think post-COVID, a lot of industries had layoffs, AI scare, inflation, all this stuff. And so I don't think really any industry is safe. But yeah, it's like if I see kids now wanting to come into this industry and you go, hey, it's kind of a weird time, right? It's like, I don't know if it's always going to be that way. But in terms of making money, I think it's stability. Our parents, we might think of it as money, but I think for your parents, especially being immigrants, like I think that's what any parent wants for their kid is stability. But I think it's the same for any industry. Like all of you, what you guys do, I still can't even understand what you guys do or explain it, but you found a way to make that a career.
Bullshitting for a living.
I think there's an interesting thread there though, that as like immigrants like evolve generations, I think there's also this I think buildup of wealth that like goes generation to generation, which enables the later generations to take risks and go diversify out of safer careers into maybe higher risk, high reward careers. And I think you saw that like throughout post Great Depression with other immigrant communities in the U.S. I foresee that similar path we're on, right? Like maybe the generations after us take other interesting careers that may have seemed very risky to us, but might actually pan out for them because they might not have the same kind of dependency on stability that we might feel today.
White privilege. That's what we're going to get. Yeah.
That's
what we're shooting for.
I
think there's something about that. Like the prior few generations, so much instability for the last easily 100 years. And
totally.
That sits with you in terms of your psyche.
Good stuff. Well, Salman, we appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Thanks so much.
And we appreciate you coming down from the studios, the ivory towers, into the little NaanSense studio.
I know.
Here, so.
To bring it back to what we were discussing earlier, Emma, your leaf blower problem.
Yeah.
I mean, for being a tech guy, I'm surprised you don't know about this.
Okay, so
what are you pointing out?
This one is called.
It's like for your keyboard, right?
What's called the Wolfbox MegaFlow 50. It's very powerful. Got it on Amazon. It's like $40.
Number one.
It's probably going to be sponsor number one, hopefully.
New and notable.
Yeah, dude. I took the fans outside, sprayed them. All the dust came out. There you go.
With that thing?
It's
With that
powerful.
thing?
It's powerful. It has
Okay,
3 speeds.
I will get that thing. All right, send me the
It
Amazon
looks
link.
like by looking at it, you can't tell that this thing's going to do anything good.
There we go. I
There
think
you
it's
go.
quite
Yeah,
powerful,
well.
Imad.
It has,
Worth at least a few $1,000s in sponsorship money.
There you go.
but anyway, Saman, thanks so much.
Right.
I hope to see you next time.
We'll hop off. Talk to
Thank
you
you,
guys later.
Saman.
Bye.
But don't totally leave because then everything will break down. Thank you.
Yeah, like we still need you in the ivory tower. So okay, we've covered a lot of ground. How do you think about your career now as you're raising little humans? Like how are you guiding them? Like, and the way I want to frame this is like, if you asked my mom, in her heart of hearts, she still wishes that I was some sort of medical professional, like a doctor, a surgeon. My dad wanted me to be like a CPA or a pharmacist.
I know you have that whole rant about not following your passion, but I would love to be in a place where my kids can follow kind of careers that they're actually interested in more, something that can tie in their unique personality and skills. And I think it also ties back to something Salman said, which is really insightful. He was mentioning that the first, person you see with a job is your parent. And, what's the tone you're setting for them? Are you enjoying your job? Are you showing that this is like, it's fun to get work done? Or are you always just like treating it as a drag, right? Like, I think all of these things they really pick up on. And I talk to my kids about this stuff. I think I have a general positive disposition towards my work. So I think it's, to me, like getting them excited about the concept of work and not just like, it's a drag and it's like, something negative, which is easy to fall into.
That's a really good, insightful way to think about it. We can set them up for success in a way that they have more choices than we had. What I don't know how we will evolve in our own thinking in the next 10 years,
Right.
Yeah.
and how will we feel 10 years from now, where will we want to be more prescriptive because we're more scared at that time and be like,
Yeah.
hey, like we think you should do like one of these three things, or will we keep the same, right? Because there are folks today who ask me, hey, what's your, like, in this age of AI, like what should I be advising my kid to do?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer is very like crisp and straightforward. Like you should go into core sciences because that's the only defensible thing that it's hard to tell that's going to go away. But that's not what I necessarily want for my kid. Like I don't want to be that prescriptive to my kids.
Right.
Yeah. I think the one thing I would add is when I think about my kid, I want to give him maybe the solace or the comfort that I'm with you with your, this is a discovery process, right? I'm here to guide you, but I don't want to pressure you into a single direction. I say this now, but maybe 10 years from now, maybe I do get more prescriptive. I don't know. Like I want to give him the comfort of exploring. Because I think that's something, and if I'm hearing from everyone, like we didn't have the opportunity to do, right? Because of the pressures from our families, because of pressures like from society. It seems like in some ways it was already prescribed, like the path we were going to go down.
I had a lot of options. I had like 3 options at least, like doctor, lawyer, engineer, and they're very different. So that was good.
Very specific type of doctor, like
very specific type of doctor.
surgeon.
I think that the typical job has gotten very demanding and is going to continue to get demanding. So, and I think that's the hard part. Like, how do we stay present for the kids while this is also going on?
Well, the guy that wrote 4,000 Weeks, Oliver Berkman.
Mm-hmm.
He has a newer book called Meditations for Mortals, and he talks about this, where essentially we are kind of finite beings, right? When it comes to time, energy, so on and so forth. And there's this concept that if we can just manage everything to a certain degree, and the certain degree is impossible to reach, but we think that if we can just manage every, task, relationship, outcome, we'll finally have control. But the part that gets lost is the demands are infinite. So the demands from work will be infinite. Mm-hmm. The demands from kids, from your wife, it just keeps ballooning. You have to recognize that, there's certain limitations you have as a human, right? It's liberating almost to acknowledge that and be okay with not hitting perfection or whatever, the management of things to to the complete degree, work, kids, wife, parents, whatever. So I don't know. I think that's like really has
it's a different
chord for me.
perspective. It's a liberating perspective. And in some ways, like being very okay with the fact that some fires are going to you have to let burn,
Exactly.
especially at work.
Yeah.
That is absolutely okay.
I mean, even with kids, right? Like, I think all three of us are very active hands-on dads. That's one of the things we aspire to. But have you noticed that if you have moments where you have a spike in time spent with your child or something really kind of fun that you do with your child, then that's the new like benchmark for the next couple of days. One, I see like an immediate return on like how much like kind of communication
Joy.
and affection I get. So there's like positive returns. But on the other hand, like there's kind of like a request for more time from the kids too, right? Like, because that spike was so good.
Totally.
But it's impossible to maintain that, both for yourself and your child. So you have to be okay with like, hey, even with my child, I'm going to have to like, not be at 100%, or 120%, I should say, the whole week or whatever.
Yeah. So this, I try to tell my kid this, that my relationship with my dad when I was a kid, when I was his age, was very different, right? Because I didn't see him as often. He was busy working. We didn't have like this quote unquote friendly relationship, right? He was friendly, but he was also like the patriarch of the family, right? Like there was a certain level of like respect. And like, I try to tell him that like, hey, look, like things are different now because that's just how society is. We're much more open. We're much more involved. And I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, like, you should be thankful for it too, because it wasn't always like this for the previous generations. And then like, he'll say something like, oh, can we play basketball today? And I'm like, okay.
Just in general, it's like balancing work and kids, right? That's like there's nothing that humbles you faster than like going from, I don't know, like a global leaders meeting and then like cleaning your kid's tekti with a lota, all in the span of like 5 minutes.
Or like having to make the silly choice: are you gonna have cereal out of a bowl or a sippy cup?
Yeah.
Like, oh, of course the sippy cup. Like, no, you can't even do that.
Yeah, this is the grind is the part that doesn't end, and in some ways it's fun, it's exhausting to say the least, but there are funny moments out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, we got to create a podcast out of it, so
that's true.
So my takeaway for everyone out there is that there's no easy way to choose a career. It's not just a one-way street. And then as it comes for your kids, there's no good way to guide them. I think this new era requires flexibility. And lastly, enjoy it. There's no work-life balance. There's no such thing. My belief is that sometimes work flexes, other times life flexes. Just be present, take it one day at a time, and enjoy the grind. Cool. So on to the next topic. This is new. We're going to see how it works.
Surprise topic, huh?
It's called Get Off My Lawn. It's an unpopular dad take, a take that other dads or younger generations would disagree with. So do you have any, or I can rail on passion again? That is my Get Off the Lawn topic of the day.
I feel similarly about cryptocurrency. I think cryptocurrency is a scam by younger generation to get all the money from the older generation. It's like they're like, hey, we should all value this thing. And we're like, no, this is all made up. NFTs are made up. So I'm not on that train.
100%. It seems like a scam. Probably is a scam. By the way, please invest in our non-coin.
Non-coin?
Non-coin.
I was going to call it NaanSense. Well, that does it for our show. Thank you, Sajid. Thank you, Ahmad. Once again, thanks so much for joining. You can find us at NaanSense Show on Instagram. Give us a follow, subscribe. It helps the algorithm, and send us notes. We want to hear from you. All right. And last but not least, leave a review.
You got a leaf blowing job?